Hey guys, Kongo here, and today we're reviewing the Tier 7 Dragon Type 62. This is next on the list of tanks to be reviewed. It's a Tier 7 light tank from the Chinese realm. Well, is it any good? Well, we'll talk about that. This tank is most comparable to the WZ-131, so we'll be comparing that. And we actually do have the same stats on this as we do on PC, so we'll be able to compare this with, what's it called, tanks.gg, which will really help because I'll be able to change the packages between the 131 and the Dragon, because the 131 I want to compare two different packages compared to the Dragon. But anyway, this tank came out way back in the day, back when light tanks still had scout matchmaking. So that means this was balanced around being able to fight tier 10s. It doesn't fight tier 10s anymore. In fact, it can fight tier 5s nowadays. So I really like it. I liked it back before it even had scout matchmaking. Or actually before it lost scout matchmaking, should I say. And now that it fights its own tier and even lower, I'm really enjoying it even more. I think it's a really good tank. A lot of people were telling me it's not as good as the 131, so we'll get into that now, and then you guys get to decide from there. So here we have the Type 62 on the left, and then the WZ-131 using the same gun in the middle, and then the WZ-131 using its larger, well, not larger gun, it's still an 85mm, but with slightly better alpha and penetration way over on the right. Right away you see the Type 62 has almost 2,000 DPM. Meanwhile, the WZ-131 packs 1,600 with the higher alpha gun, and with the same gun packs 1,612. So the Type 62 has much better rate of fire because it is a light tank, a premium light tank, so it did not get nerfed when all the other light tanks who stayed at their own tier got nerfed slightly, which in this case was the WZ-131. Another thing you'll notice is it's got a better aim time of 2.3 instead of the 2.5 the other two tanks have. Though, the WZ-131, with its larger 85mm, that doesn't make any sense, has 0.36 accuracy. So that's a little bit of an edge to the 131, though you're still packing 363 more DPM. So keep that in mind. And then when we get to mobility, this is where the 131 outshines. And that's because all the light tanks got buffed, their engines got buffed. And so the Type 62 has 20.48 horsepower per ton, while the WZ-131 has 26, regardless of the gun it's using. But the Type 62 does have slightly better ground resistances, though it doesn't turn as fast on these terrains, as you can see here, down here. So that's interesting as well. And the final thing is the engine health, so it can get its engine knocked out a little bit easier. It also has 20 less hit points, though it still has the 390 view range. It didn't lose its view range when scout matchmaking got removed. And that's huge. In my opinion, that is huge on a tank like this. Is because you are a scout tank, you're a light tank. So that really helps. You don't need to take food, you don't need a really exceptional crew, you just need optics and a mastered crew and maybe brothers in arms, and then you should be able to get your full view range, which is really, really good. Another thing about the Type 62 is it has these heat shells right here, which have 220mm of penetration, which is great. Granted, the WZ-131 also has it, but this thing, you know, it just does. It has it. And in my opinion, I like the Dragon Type 62 a little bit more than the WZ-131. I really did. However, I don't think it's worth it, in my opinion, to grab the Dragon Type 62 over tanks like the Hollenhund, or the Lycan, or the Gorynych, or the Bog Horror, or the Kraft's Panther. I think all 5 of those tanks you should grab before this thing. And I'm enjoying the Wraith a lot, so actually 6 tanks. In fact, now that I think about it, the only tank that you shouldn't get over this is the Kaiju. So, and these are just my honest opinions. I don't think the Dragon is quite worth it unless you like light tanks, or you already have all the other tanks, you know, minus the Kaiju. So that's just my honest opinion. Let's quickly look at what kind of money this thing makes, and then we'll jump into some gameplay. So the Dragon Type 62 makes 40% extra credits and 25% extra experience. Not bad, not great either. Definitely one of the lower ones. Let's jump into some gameplay. So we find ourselves on Westfield, and this is an old replay, and I didn't know when I wanted to use it. I had this replay on my hard drive for probably over a year now. Just like, when do I want to use it? And the reason being was because I posted a dragon replay on this map, on this same exact side, doing the same exact thing. And I'm just like, I'm not going to post two videos close to each other, which have this pretty much the same exact results and outcome. Not necessarily, this one doesn't have the same results, but we still win, should I say, and it demonstrates the tank pretty well. So now I've decided to finally use it for you guys as a demonstration of the vehicle, and I guess that makes sense, right? So, the Dragon Type 62. When this tank first came out, nobody liked it. And I understand why, because we had tanks like the Lycan and the regular Tech Tree T71 in the game, and the auto-loading SP1C, and the AMX 1375, you know, and all those other light tanks, and this tank just did not perform very well, because it really is a tier 7. When you play, it is a tier 7, and remember, tanks had, light tanks specifically, had scout tank matchmaking at the time, and because of that, this tank just did not work, because it literally was balanced like a tier 7. It was worse than the Tech Tree rivals, and that was the style of light tanks back then, or should I say premium tanks back then. They made the tanks worse than their Tech Tree rivals. That was the style. That's what you did. They don't do that so much anymore, especially since most of the time tanks don't have preferential matchmaking anymore, so they need to compete with same tier tanks and higher tier tanks more often. So that's not really the case anymore of what happens here in World of Tanks Mercenaries, or any World of Tanks platform in general. PC, Blitz, it's the same thing. Premium tanks tend to be a little bit better nowadays, and this tank suffered from that, the fact that everything else was just better. Nowadays though, now that it's been quote-unquote buffed, or should I say the scout matchmaking has been removed, which pretty much is just a buff in my opinion, the tank is phenomenal. It because it really was it was like a tier 7.1, tier 7.2. It wasn't quite tier 7.5 or tier 8 like the other light tanks were, like the Lycan. That could easily have been just put at tier 8 and nobody would bat an eye. This thing really was a tier 7, and now that the scout matchmaking is removed, it's in a really good place. It plays really, really, really well. That's just my opinion. I still have people tell me it's not very good, because they compare it to tanks like the Tech Tree version, the WZ-131, and they say the 131 is better because it's slightly better mobility, but I still don't see it. I still think this tank is better than the WZ-131. I really enjoy it. I had to grind through the WZ-131, and I didn't like it that much, but, you know, it is what it is. Now, this guy just shot at me, and I don't really appreciate that, so I'm going to pulverize him real quick. He gets another shot into me because it was 10 degrees, but actually it's not going to be me who pulverizes him. It's going to be my team. That's right, I have snipers. That's what happens when you take the middle here, guys, is you can spot everyone going up that hill in front of me, and then your team will win the hill because you're spotting for them, and then you win the game. It's simple as that, and you can go to this position I'm in right now without having to worry about getting feasted on by T20s like that, because your team will just farm them, which they did. So thank you, team, there. But yeah, so we were just talking about the tank, and that's pretty much all I'm going to talk about this tank. A little bit more knowledge being given to you guys. This tank also, I didn't mention, has 5 degrees of gun depression, though it is a low profile, so it's not that big of a deal. Plus, you're a light tank. You know, you're not going to be like fighting on ridge lines. You're going to be scouting and then being an opportunist. That's your job as a light tank, really. And that's what we've done here. Look at we have more assist damage ribbons than we do have raw damage ribbons, which is good. But now this Lycan is coming after us, and so we're gonna pull back and let him come. Here he comes. He fired 1. That's 2. I do have snipers in the back. He crashes. 3. He ammo racks us. Let's fix that. 4. Can we get around? 5. And he's got 1 shot left. He's gonna use it on us. He's not gonna kill us. Oh. No, he's not. He's running. He's probably reloading now, too. He's decided, okay, if I'm going to run, I'm going to reload. So now we're going to hunt him. There we go. That's the last shot, for sure. There's no way he reloaded that quickly. So now we should be free to just drive up here and kill him off. Shouldn't be an issue. Drive up this hill. As you can see, the mobility coming into play, it's not that good. Believe it or not, the Lycan got its mobility buffed to the same mobility as the T71 when the light tanks changed. I can't hit this guy for the life of me. I remember that about this replay now. I just could not aim. Do we hit this time? No, of course not. We aimed way too low that time. But anyway, when the T71 got changed to tier 7. Well, should I say when it got its matchmaking removed? Its scout matchmaking removed. The T71, it got a mobility buff. It lost its really good autoloader. It still has a really good autoloader, but it lost its penetration on that autoloader. But it's got its mobility buff, just like all the other light tanks. The Lycan did not have its gun removed. It has the same gun, and it also got its mobility buffed. So it's interesting that they decided to buff the Lycan, but they didn't buff this tank. And when we talk about the Hellhound tomorrow, they also didn't buff the Hellhound's mobility. But that's okay. I'm going to spoil tomorrow's video a little bit here, just so that, because some of you will be impatient waiting for tomorrow's video and will already choose a tank to get. The Hellhound is the best bang for your buck in this game. It really is. And so is the Bog Horror. So, you know, if you don't have either of those are the tanks I recommend buying, or I recommend getting for free, you know, whichever you choose. If you're not going to get a tank, you're not going to pay for a tank at all, then get yourself a Hellhound or a Bog Horror. If you're going to buy a tank, buy the Hellhound. The reason being is because it is so cheap. It's the cheap, I think one of the cheapest ones, one of the cheapest tier 8s in this game. That's the one I would recommend. If you're going to buy a tank, you buy that one, or you buy the Bog Horror. Otherwise, if you're going to unlock a tank for free, pick an expensive one, like a Gorynych or the Wraith or something like that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? If you already have the Bog Horror or the Hollenhund, that is, because those two are really good for pubs. Really good for pubs, and they're pretty good for the Halloween matchmaking too, which is going to be fun. But there you go. That's the last tank of the game. We do not get any kills, but I think it was a good demonstration of the tank. You saw it suffer versus the Lycan. The Lycan would have slaughtered my face in if we weren't able to escape him, which we were. But you saw also scouting with its superior view range to the other light tanks. 139,000 credits made, 3,600 damage dealt, 1,800 assisted, 0 tanks killed. We get the high caliber, the spotter, the Confederate, and an ace tanker. 4,470 damage combined. Not too shabby. 4 tanks spotted. We only spotted 4 tanks, but we kept a lot more tanks in our view range, which really helped us there to pick up the ace tanker. Now, I do have a replay for you guys featuring this tank in the monster mode. Just note to self, this tank isn't very good in the monster mode, and I only played it once. Maybe it is good in the monster mode, but the one game I played, I was just like, nope, this is not the tank for me, and that was the only time I played it. Okay, now that I think back, I actually did have multiple games in this tank. This was just the first one I was recording. So what makes the dragon special in this mode? Well, as you see that glowing pad, I'm allowed to go onto that glowing pad, and it will teleport me to another random pad on the map. And that's all it does. There we go. Here we are, elsewhere. And look at the gun bloom. And the tank doesn't have anything else. It's literally exactly the same as the tech tree version. In a game with a ton of tier 8s. Your pen isn't better. Your alpha isn't better. You don't get your heat rounds. You see a Gorynych? Yeah, you're just pretty much dead. Well, this is not where we want to be. Let's teleport again. There we go, up here. We should be better up here, right? And the reload is, because you can't take equipment, is bad. Look at the reload. The gun handle, you're not going to hit anything on the move. It's just how it works. But it's fun to just teleport around. You really don't do much in this game as this tank. Like, yes, you can teleport. But that's it. That's all you do. You just teleport. Okay. Other than that, you are a subpar tank. And sometimes you will teleport straight into the arms of danger, which I've had that happen. Because when I played this tank, it was my mission to go through every teleporting pad every time I could. Especially when I spawned, I would immediately jump in one. And actually spawn me right in front of the enemy one time. It was like, well, I'm dead. But that's the risk you take jumping in one. Yes, it can help you escape, but then once you escape and you come back to fight, what are you going to do? There we go, another teleportation. Here we are. Hello there. Actually, this was a pretty good teleportation. We should be able to go after that guy while he's down there. Except he's dying, and look at the gun handling of this thing on the move. It doesn't work. Somebody's shooting at me. I think it's a Revenant somewhere behind me. And he's dead. And we've still done nothing. And that's just going to be the case of the game. I just wanted to show off what the special ability is. Yeah, this tank is not good in the monster mode. It really isn't. It's... No. If they change its stats a little bit, like, made its gun a little more accurate on the move, if that's all they did, this would be fantastic. Maybe gave it APCR standard so it flies faster. But as it stands, you can't hit anything. Here we go. I think this is the teleportation that gets me killed. Is it? No, we don't even jump in it. Never mind. Way to go on top of this thing. And why? Because that right there is a good teleportation pad to escape if somebody comes up here you can just escape immediately. But there we go. Hello there. Aiming, 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 and 17 damage because we did not hit the turret of the Revenant. Remember what I said when we were reviewing the Revenant? You have to hit that thing in the turret to do damage, otherwise you'll not be doing damage. And then 19. Wow, we're off to a really good start here playing in the dragon. Are we going to teleport away this time around? Yeah, let's do it. It's fun. Teleporting is fun. Let's do it again. Where are we going now? Whoop. Here we are. Oh, we're still up here. Okay. Welcome back, I guess. Let's do it again. This guy's coming. The Spectre. Actually, are we going to fight him? Or are we going to teleport away again? We're going to fight him. We bounced the first shell. He's got HE. We pen him that time. He rams us. And he's got a really good rate of fire. We don't. And yeah, his HE is killing everyone in our tank. But he dies. We got him, boys. He's dead. But we lost our gunner and our loader. Just to make the fact that our reload and gun handling is bad, let's make it worse. And let's teleport away. Right in front of this other Spectre. And right in front of the Revenant. Welp! This was fun, boys. And I didn't mean to die there, but we did. We died. Oh well. GG, I guess. It's all over. We did. We gone. We gone! Let's take a look at the post-game results just to see how well we did. We did 570 damage. We got 1 credit though, so yay, 1 credit will go straight to my bank account. Yeah, that's the tank. Anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, slap that like button, comment, subscribe. Let me know, are you picking up the dragon? Do you care about the dragon? Do you think the dragon is kind of a letdown? And you're like, yeah, I'm not going to grab the dragon. Let me know what you guys think, and if you have one, let everyone know what you think of the dragon, so that it helps get more opinions out there on the dragon, so people can choose and kind of find what they want. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed. If you did, slap that like button, comment, subscribe. Make sure you go check out Spaceman GotADingy's YouTube's links in the description below. And I'll see you guys all later. Take care, everyone. And peace out.